Let's show you some more video here of it's the San Carlos Boulevard leading up to Fort Myers Beach. Boats were lifted out of the back bay from the storm surge and moved all the way across the road into the mangroves on the other side of the road, just to give you an idea of the power of this storm surge.
Yeah, a lot of fishing charters. People go down to the beach to take the fishing charter out. There's some fish shacks there. I think that little green was Maria's Fish Shack, get some great seafood. Well, all of that kind of is been decimated. And it was an interesting little stretch of kind of old Florida because there were small, tiny little businesses, and man, they would take you out deep sea fishing. Get a little sick, but you'd get some great food.
I mean, these places went through Hurricane Irma relatively unscathed. You could tell because it still had kind of the old infrastructure. Everything was still...
Well, I should mention that building right there, the high-rise. I lived in that building when Hurricane Charlie came through. So it was on the top floor. We just had, and we were on the top floor, so we just had a little bit of wind damage. But the building, again, like you said, was still standing, was fine. But that's Boardwalk Caper right there. And I had a 6-month-old and made it through the storm with a baby at Hurricane Charlie, in 2004.
So you remember your stories from Charlie. A lot of people certainly remember their stories just 5 years ago from Irma. I don't think we're ever going to forget yesterday. September 28th, 2022 is now a day that will be one of the most significant in Southwest Florida history. Might
be something that we want to forget, but we can't. Keith, we're going to show you the ship. This is like just down the street. The video we were showing you was heading away from Fort Myers Beach. But if you turned around and went in the other direction and took a left onto Main Street before you went over the bridge, Matanzas Pass Bridge, well, this is what you would see. There's a lot of mobile home communities there, and you can see that these manufactured homes were picked up and tossed on top of the shrimp boats that were taken off the water. There's Tricor Shrimp Company down there, nothing like going down, getting some fresh shrimp and bringing it home, but it's going to be a while before the shrimpers can go out again. And then if you look past that, you can see the Salty Sam's Marina, Parrot Key, fantastic restaurant, and really a fun place to go. And then, of course, where the Key West Express takes off.
And this is the video, if you can see this, that I think kind of takes our breath away. You go actually over Matanzas Pass Bridge onto Fort Myers Beach. Can we show the video of Times Square and the pier? The pier is gone. If you've been to Fort Myers Beach, you have been to this spot, and the only thing left are the concrete pylons extending out, you know, probably a couple 100 feet out into the Gulf. It's all gone. And the restaurant right now, I used to go to the Pierside Grill all the time with my girls. We loved that place. It was just such a fun little atmosphere there in Fort Myers Beach.
The Greek restaurant across the street, the best breakfast in town.
You get an ice cream cone at the Dairy Queen. You hang out and watch the little entertainers there. Those places were wiped off the map. You can barely make out the concrete slab. It's just gone.
And I remember years ago doing a story telling people how to prepare and talking about storm surge. And part of the story was how Fort Myers Beach in a Category 3 storm would have, we had a cherry picker and they put it up as high as it could go, and I was at the top of it, and I was explaining to people that if we had a Category 3 or 4 storm, the entire Times Square would be filled with water, and I was at the top of the cherry picker. It gives me chills now to think about that visual because it was something that we did to show, but again, worst case scenario, and I never really thought it would happen, and it did.
I don't think anybody really thought this could happen, or else we wouldn't have the majority of our community living along the water. This is going to make people rethink, is that where I want to be? The water is the best part of Southwest Florida. It's why this is one of the fastest growing places in the country. But this is just going to change a lot of people's mindsets.
People have short memories.
I mean,
when you see that every day, I think they have short memories.
You're probably right. That tends to be human nature, that history repeats itself for a reason and things like that happen. I'm stuck in that thought right now.
Because it's so devastating to look at. It certainly is. We are also, we sent our Gage, you know, it's hard. Don't try to go down to Fort Myers Beach. That's what they're asking you not. We got a crew onto Fort Myers Beach, but right now they're stopping you at the base of the Matanzas Pass Bridge. Even if you live on the beach, you have to walk over it. You can't drive on the bridge. And they're not letting anybody who doesn't need to be there. But our Gage Goulding got onto the island today and shows us what it's like day 2.
Some of the most devastating damage here on Fort Myers Beach comes from the businesses that this island relies on most. This 7-Eleven was completely stripped. All of its walls blown out, windows gone, and everything inside gone as well. Hurricane Ian claiming this convenience store as his own, and this is just one of many businesses, many homes, many apartments, condos, hotels, whatever you want to call them, whatever they are, that were completely wiped out by Hurricane Ian. Many of them aren't standing to this very day. Many of them completely destroyed. This one here, if you look at this corner, the front right corner, literally hanging on by just a few cinder blocks. That's all that is keeping this 7-Eleven standing, and it's just the sign of the force, the strength, and the impact that Hurricane Ian had right here on Fort Myers Beach. We'll send it back to you.